From 2015, on this day, success has many fathers, they say, whereas failure is lonely. Mr. Abbott is being pilloried for the loss of Conservative government to Queensland. Although it wasn't his failure, neither was it Campbell Newman's failure. The reason for the Queensland election result is related to many different things that fed off each other. Electoral fraud, favouring the ALP, very low journalistic standards, corruption of the judiciary, and a hostile Palmer United Party, the biggest factor being the partisan media narrative. The Newman government turned Queensland around from being a murderous wreck where people died from state incompetence. The floods and failure to insure against disaster is unforgivable, but only part of the story. A bloated bureaucracy which did not serve Queensland but parasitically sucked funds and obstructed transparency of process was something the ALP were proud of. A corrupted judiciary that could not see anything wrong with the gang rape of an Aboriginal girl in detention or the destruction of related evidence implicating the ALP at the highest levels. An industry-driven Queensland became debt-driven when it normally would be capital creative under the ALP. Empty symbolism of minority over promotion befouled cultural assets. Newman turned Queensland around, presenting a leaner, more efficient bureaucracy, making it easier for small business to grow. Newman brought down debt, making Queensland live within her means. Newman fought the culture wars against the judiciary, but failed regarding the Heiner issue. The Australian federal government could have investigated Heiner when the Senate almost had the numbers under Gillard of non-ALP members willing, but a Family First senator prevented it, calling it a stunt in 2011. Newman failed over Heiner, but it was not his fault. Also, both the Australian Labor Party and Liberal National Party had asset sales, but Newman's sales for the Liberal National Party were to be responsible. The sole policy difference broadcast by ALP and opposition is that they would not sell assets but use them as a form of taxation to pay for services and prevent industry making it more efficient. The ALP policy is bad, and for Queensland's sake, one hopes the Australian Labor Party adopts Newman policy there too. There was a lot of smoke about ALP and LNP policy. ALP promised to save Barrier Reef, which is not endangered. Liberal National Party were going to sack more, according to the Australian Labor Party. The hatred of Palmer for Newman appears to have co-opted Alan Jones to attack Newman. Mr. Abbott's award of a knighthood to Prince Philip was a good thing, but one would not have known it for the partisan reporting. Mr. Abbott did not campaign in Queensland, but that did not stop laying the result on Mr. Abbott by Laurie Oakes, who unprofessionally failed to relate a single campaign issue. Electoral fraud is not possible to scale between the processes are not followed to ensure it is fair. Former ALP Treasurer Swan has criticized others for wanting a fair electoral process. My name is David Daniel Ball, and I am the Conservative Voice. David Daniel Ball is author of History of the World in a Year by the Conservative Voice.